So yeah, I mean, I like this for black, I have to say. I'm already eyeing the h3 pawn, thinking of how I can take that off the board.
I do think about some evil business here at some stage. Maybe you're even, we're almost threatening to take, and knight takes with a fork, but we can flick in this one. So, but definitely some tactical opportunities that open up with the knight on f4. But still, I think that this should be hovering
Do you
around
know
equal.
the Italian, is that a recent addition to Niels' repertoire? He was a Rui Lopez man, I believe.
Yes, he was. I remember a very good game against Grandmaster Gretarsson when we were teammates in Iceland. So yeah, he's been playing Spanish.
Of course, one thing we haven't mentioned yet during the tournament is Niels is one of the seconds of none other than world champion Magnus Carlsen.
Yes.
So he does know his openings very well. Also has been working, I mean, he's always been working on his chess a lot, Niels, but recently I think he's had a bit of a breakthrough. He's really knocking on the 2700 club's doors now, so hopefully Zephyr in the chat is suggesting we get an intern to run through Alexandra's boards. Yeah,
we have some, so we might look into it. but yeah, nothing special happening here. Just a fairly standard middle game.
But I think an interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this will be an immediate draw.
No.
So we'll definitely come back to it.
So shall we continue with board 2? I think we'll do a quick tour of the top 4 boards, and then maybe we'll go to some of the fan favorites like Aman.
So Alireza, he had the white pieces against Vladimir Potkin, and he still has them, by the way. So and it was a Grunfeld with c6 and d5, castles, and b3. And if I recall correctly, this is what what's his name? The Israel Grandmaster recommended in Avruk recommended in one of his books for white. c5, bishop e2, and it's sort of dynamic, and I never really fully took the time to understand it. I mean, white of course is left with a worse pawn chain, perhaps a weak pawn here, but white is playing more for dynamics, leading development, pressure down the diagonal, and the fact that he's slightly leading in development. But let's see, queen b6, and he protected the guy on c1. I thought queen b3 is the more common move here, as I thought. But okay, queen c1, bishop d7, preparing knight c6 without damaging the structure. Knight d2, knight c6, knight 2 to b3, and we had some trades, and Alireza went for the queen trade, queen to f4.
And we have Sasha Barilovic in the chat with us, aka Luca, and he's saying today same strategy as yesterday against Sigurbjörn. For Potkin, play strategical avoiding tactics.
Slightly different opponent today.
Slightly.
At least. But he plays queen f4, goes for the endgame, and well, this targets especially the pawn on b7 and also the pawn on a7, and we can easily add some firepower to the queen side. So Potkin decides to neutralize it with bishop to c6. We have a trade, and the current position after a4 and knight c5 with Potkin to move. Now I met Alireza's father outside. We were just briefly looking at the position. Hamid Reza, his father, a very nice guy, and I thought this will be a tough one to win.
I never realized Hamid Reza because I'm friends with him on Facebook, and I always thought it was Ali Reza.
Like, he has a picture of Ali Reza.
Because probably I keep tagging him in all the photos. I never realized it was his dad's account. Learn something new every day. And pass pawn, you're correct. Potkin is a former European champion, indeed.
Indeed.
And there's a couple more moves that have been played. Knight b7 here, and rook a7.
Knight c5. What was the move after knight c5?
Rook a5. So we have
the
a
rook.
possible repetition. Here.
Already.
Yeah. Let's see. And no.
However,
White
Alireza
has gone
can
to
play knight d8.
He has played knight d8.
That's very unusual
interesting,
maneuver,
yeah.
getting the knight into touchdown territory. Unfortunately, the rules of chess do not give you anything special for a touchdown.
No. But how do you defend the pawn on c6?
Yeah, I think you have to play rook a6, but then again, the rook is very passive, and I will probably activate the other rook immediately, come to b7.
A second ago, I thought this was nothing special for white, but now he's played
maybe
a few
this
moves,
unusual maneuver perhaps throwing a spanner in the works, so to say. And c5 then, it just looks a bit weak. I think we would still play rook b1. And now we have, this move coming, maybe rook to b5. And, white is poking around a little bit, so...
I like this for white.
Yeah, rook a6. Looks passive. Do we have anything direct, like knight? No. Like counter-attacking with knight h5? We take? No, we don't have rook c7, so it makes no sense.
Yeah, no, this doesn't seem... And rook c8, maybe.
Yeah.
And now the rook is attacked. Sorry.
I wanted this one.
Never mind.
But it's covered, so I think we only have rook a6 or c5, and I like the position for white in both cases.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit more play in the position than we originally thought.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing Potkin will think a bit here.
Yeah. 2 minutes and counting. So let's come back to this one a bit later. We'll move on to board 3, where we have 2 veterans of chess, but also of this tournament. Sergei Movsesian, who last night looked very depressed when Menu went down to Barcelona.
Yeah, they didn't play a very good game, seemingly.
No, and Hannes Stefansson.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. I think Movsesian is a former winner.
Maybe joint.
Yeah.
We should really find out.
It's guaranteed that Hannes has played against Movsesian before.
But Hannes has won the tournament as well, right?
Yeah.
A few times or just once?
Go to ReykjavikOpen.com.
Yeah.
While we go through the moves, and then go to history on the right.
Okay.
Then we can see
I'll do this.
former
You
winners.
take us through the opening.
So another Italian, castles, knight b to d2. Seem to recall them playing a game in the Spanish at some stage, but maybe no, Hannes had white in that one, but Sergei Movsesian has white in this one, and very similar to the other game. Rook e1, bishop e6, bishop b5.
Okay, so Movsesian has never won the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah. And Hannes has won it
4 times.
5 times. He's a
5-time winner.
Yeah, 5-time winner.
That's amazing.
And
some
he
of the
has
times
played in
winner.
the tournament 15 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the stats might be not updated for the last 2 years or something.
Okay.
Well,
you should get on that.
Yeah, it's not updated for 2018. I'll take care of it.
It says though, is this not a 16th? Oh no, what is this?
XV1.
Oh yeah, it hasn't been updated in 6 years.
Okay.
So he's probably up to 20
yes,
participations or something.
So this might be the exact same position as in the other game. At least it's very similar. In this one, Hannes went queen to b8. Yeah, I like maneuvers like this. Put the queen on a7, pressure on this.
Yeah.
Seem to recall one game with this maneuver in the candidates. Maybe Karakin, Mamedyarov or something. Which was a draw. Queen a7, queen to d2. Yeah, unusual way to protect the pawn on f2, knight e7, and d4. Hannes retreats, and as always, the question is what is going on If we take the pawn, looks risky, but what's the continuation? I don't see anything like immediately. Maybe black is just sacrificing a pawn for some play. Maybe just rook d8. Don't see anything immediate. Maybe also we can play knight g4 here, of course. Yeah, we'll play knight g4 here. Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Attacking this, and we regain the pawn. Okay, so therefore, Moses
take
played
away
h3.
that square.
Yeah, rook a to d8. Now, if we take on e5, there's an attack on the queen, so the queen retreats. c6, hitting the knight. It goes back, knight g6. And we get the pieces out, and Hannes is gunning for the f4 square.
Once again.
Similar to our board 1 game, and bishop to f1.
There we go, and bishop f1.
I also think it was Larsen who said that a bishop on f1 completely neutralizes a knight on f4. In the other game, the light squared bishop was, way over on the other side of the board on a4. But here it's a lot different. So Hannes to move, and
there are no more moves.
Yeah, another one of those.
No, sorry.
Italian
Knight h5 has just been played.
Knight h5 back. Okay. Okay, and we still have this tension. I mean, nothing critical going on just yet. So I think we might just wanna
move
on to board number 4.
We've been getting a request in the chat for the game of our top seed, Gawain. We'll go there after board 4, especially because he's playing against Brage Torfinsson, who's having a fantastic tournament here so far. It was his birthday yesterday. So we'll go there next.
So Cornet is playing against Lupulescu. Just gonna go quickly over the moves. It was a Caro-Kann, and he played c5. I think Keith Arkell plays this line a lot. Sort of a delayed advanced French. Also, there have been some games with Anand. Seem to recall one game in Vacancy where Anand won pretty convincingly with white. Bishop d3, knight g6, castles, queen c7, attacking e5, white protects it, and h4. Aggressive chess by Matthew. He wants to just push the knight away, gain some space on the king side. Knight c6, b4, and now he protects the pawn on e5. And we don't have time to take on h4. Either we have to. Well, if you take with the bishop, I take on g6, you lose a piece. I take on h4 next, and if you take with a knight, I play queen h5, double attack on the bishop and the h7 square. So no time for that, so black plays f5. And white didn't take.
Why not?
If he takes, maybe it's black who's getting a lot of play. We might have to trade off this bishop, and I think black's play is quite easy. Bishop d7, bring the other rook. Yeah, and yet another game where a knight comes into f4 as well.
Interesting.
So instead, he played g3, and oops, I went ahead a little bit. G3, a6, h5 finally, kicking the knight, but it goes to h8. Usually not a very good square for a knight, but there are some famous games in chess history where the square is used to maneuver a knight. One of them being Kortsunu against Fischer in the King's Indian. And the knight will come back to f7 at some stage. c4, d takes c4, bishop takes c4, b5, bishop to b3. And probably people can't hear it on the broadcast, but there's an announcement in Harpa, the playing hall. I think there's a symphony orchestra or something playing tonight in one of the halls.
Do not know.
But it will not affect the players. Knight to f7. So the knight resurfaces to f7. Knight to c3.
And they could actually hear it on stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Queen b7, queen to e2, and we have the current position after bishop d7, unless we have a few more moves. Let me just check. No, bishop d7 is the latest move, so coronet with the white pieces. And he has, yeah, a little bit of a space advantage, but for both sides it's hard to really find a plan.
The French guys, who were some of the people who were down at the karaoke last night, unfortunately I left just before they sang, but hopefully we'll repeat another time. I would have loved to see them sing, actually.
I'm not so sure I would have loved to. Yeah, okay. For the cringe factor, I would have
of course
liked it. But
I think I was just very close to giving in to singing with them. I'm the worst singer you can imagine, but I thought if it's the three of them plus me, I can get away with just, you know, mumbling away.
I could never do karaoke unless it was in like a group.
And if you had a lot of drinks?
Mm-hmm.
Either a big group of people or a big
Both.
group of drinks.
Both.
Ideally both. Okay, shall we leave this one? Shall we go to board 5, where our top seed Gawain Jones is playing against Bragi Torfinson?
Yeah, heavy maneuvering middle game between Matthew and Lupulescu, and we move on to Bragi against Gawain against Bragi, actually.
Oh, they've already progressed a lot into the game.
And let's, again, another Italian seems to be
the theme of the day.
Yeah, the popular opening at the moment. And yeah, more of the same. Bishop e6, no. Bishop e6 we already had in at least Hannes's game, probably board 1 as well. I can't remember if there was like an extra move, but Bragi goes knight g4, rook e2, and king h8, maybe trying to play like alpha 0 with f5 at some stage.
Well, it looks like f5 is coming immediately. Yeah.
Bishop g5, queen to e8. So it looks like Bragi is playing aggressively here, but let's see what happens, because it seems like in the current position he's down a pawn. Knight comes back to f6, and already I don't like this isolated pawn. Bishop comes back to e3. He wants to neutralize the bishop, trade them off, and hope that this is a weakness that he can attack. Knight h5, takes, logical, and queen d6, and yeah, double attack. So after this forced sequence, it looks like
White is winning a pawn.
White is winning the pawn. So Bragi prefers to keep the pawn on b6 at the cost of undoubling the pawns on the queen side. And he's hoping he can hold on here. I mean, there's no reason why he should really lose on the queen side. I mean,
the question is, can White take advantage of his extra pawn?
He has an extra pawn on the king side.
But it's a double pawn, which makes it more difficult, of course.
It makes it really hard to make a pass pawn. So
tell me, which pieces would you like to trade here as black, and which would you like to keep?
As black?
Yeah.
I think I would love to get down to some sort of rook ending. And probably I would like to trade off the bishops then.
Interesting. I was more tending, I wanted to get down to bishops.
Yeah, that should also be. I think if you can trade pieces with black in general, you should be happy.
And in the chat, Crafty Ralph, who's been with us every single day, every round, so shout out to Crafty Ralph, is pointing out that we're once again over 1,200 viewers, so thank you, of course, to each and every
Crafty
one of you.
wasn't it he who figured out the...
It was him who figured out down to the Bear Kings. Yeah.
The Bear King puzzle.
And past pawn is just informing us that Aman has played the London again. So we'll go to Aman and say, actually Aman is on board 6, which is our next board anyway.
We'll just go in order.
So let's go over to Aman.
So Bragi struggling to make a draw, and it will be a long game, and remains to be seen.
Yeah. Aman yesterday, who The day before he'd missed the win. Yesterday apparently was worse against Jordan, so but a good score for him so far of 3 out of 4, and a big test today against our former champion Erwin Lamy.
Bishop f4, London, but Erwin goes c5. Yesterday his fellow Dutchman Jordan went with d5, but Lamy goes for a quick queen b6. This allows white to play knight to c3 and a6. Taking the pawn is not advisable. I think we can play knight b5 here, among other things, and then the queen will struggle here on b2. So a6, and now a3. So now a different way to defend the pawn. Looks like we no longer have knight b5, but we have knight a4, which traps the queen.
Very nice.
Doesn't have a square.
Yeah. The queen is trapped.
Yeah. So e6, and knight to f3, d5, and let's see what happens. Bishop d7. Yeah, still leaving this pawn undefended, but after bishop d7, black is stopping knight a4, so white defends the pawn finally. ct et, knight c6, castles, bishop c7, and let's see some moves.
Yeah, in the chat someone is saying that Aman is a pawn up in the current position.
Oh, okay, so let's see. Knight c3, queen b6, c3. Wait, he played queen a7 and then... Yeah, okay, he played queen a7 of course earlier to play b5. So that's normal. Black usually expands on the queen side in these lines and plays for b4. But Aman decides to stop it with b4 himself. An interesting way to stop black's play on the queen side. And there's a famous game by Bent Larsen where he used the same method to block off the queen side. So perhaps Aman is aware of that. And the Bent Larsen fan. Yeah, he's a fabulous player, Bent was. Queen e2, knight d6, knight takes on d7. And he won a lot of tournaments because he had such an aggressive and original style. Always playing, original openings, so winning a lot of games. Bishop takes d6.
Yeah, it makes sense to get rid of that bishop if you don't want it to get rid of that knight.
Yeah, and now, okay, so let's see here. h5, queen e2. I'm going back because this is what the pawn was lost. So the pawn is attacked. He defends it. So Aman removes the defender, the bishop on d7, and then
removes both defenders.
Both defenders and takes the pawn. So let's see, did Erwin have something in mind here, or did he miss this? King d8, knight to e2, and rook to a8.
Looks like it's just a pawn.
Yeah, it seems.
Yeah.
Just seems like a pawn to me. And
for once, Aman is doing well on the clock. Half an hour, 25 or 27 minutes for Erwin. So things have gone very well. Now the question is, how high are his conversion chances?
Exactly.
Chances.
He will have a pass pawn on the b file, but...
I mean, it's opposite colored bishops, but it doesn't matter so much here because there's still quite a lot of material on the board.
Yeah.
And the pass pawn looks quite threatening, especially with the majority on the queen side.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely.
I really fancy. Of course, yeah, but I fancy his winning chances.
Yeah.
If I had to put a bet, I would bet on Aman.
We have to keep an eye on Aman.
Yeah.
I'm about to sneeze, so.
No pressure. This was not a sneeze. What was
a
that?
cough. Sorry.
So yeah, we'll keep an eye on Aman. I don't think we need to write it down. I think the chat will remind us.
Yeah, okay.
If
Look
we ignore
again at Aman.
Okay, and I want to go actually to a few Icelandic players because before we went live, I saw that both Björn and Gumi were in great shape.
Okay.
So let's start with Gumi on board 8.
Board 8 against Lagarde.
Yeah, so board 8. Last time I checked, it was +2, and now I open and it says -2.
Let's have a look because I saw somebody posted a position, and we'll just quickly go to it, on the Icelandic forum on Facebook, and said that Gummi had a good move. Now I didn't see what the move was, so let's just see the position. So it was an English opening, which Gummi plays a lot. Symmetrical English, and this is a line that I really like to play against. Normally white castles here, and eventually plays knight e1, c2, e3, and goes for this d5 square. But Gummi went with knight d2, which is a different maneuver, and the idea there is to put the knight on e3 before you castle using the f1 square, and from there you can go to d5. So that's what happened, knight f1, queen d7. But first he played h4, because black wants to play bishop to h3, so he prevents that with h4. f5, still he doesn't go knight e3, he goes h5, and g takes h5. It's a little bit surprising, now at knight e3. So Gummi is sacrificing the pawn at the moment, but it's a double pawn on the h file, nothing to worry about. Knight e7, he played bishop to g5.
Do you know the moment when he had a good move, so we can guess it?
Queen h4, king b8. I think it's coming up, b4 and 8, I think it's here.
Okay.
I thought, yeah, this position, and it said white to move and find something. Yeah, was supposed to have a good move here. Now, he does have a lot of pieces pointed
towards the king,
like this. Okay, this can come in, he can open the p file. The queen is nicely posted, so can we somehow tie this all together? Well, first of all, our bishop is attacked.
Okay, what if I put the bishop? No.
Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if somebody can find a solution without the computer in the chat. I'm tempted. No. I was tempted, but
I mean, the bishop is attacked. Surely there's not a...
the only thing I know was he didn't play the right move. He took an f6, which is not the right move. So let's see, what do we have here? Let's look at the forcing moves. B takes c5, giving up the bishop, hg, knight, no, I don't see anything there. C takes d6, still don't see it. I give up. Okay. I mean, there are like a lot of tempting options, but I don't see anything like concrete.
Most likely it's not a bishop move.
And most likely it's something like takes and rook b1 and something. Take on d6, knight b5. But
let's have a look at that. So
yeah, by taking on c5.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just try to figure it out by moving the pieces.
Okay,
and
so I'll take on
we're
g5.
We're down a piece.
Now I guess rook b1.
Yeah, rook b1 is tempting. Yeah, probably this. Let's say rook here.
I thought this and then I realized,
yeah, c6. And on this, maybe knight b5.
In the very worst case, I guess I can take on b7.
Yeah, worst case we can take on b7. Maybe I think worst case we can play here and then here.
And then knight, yeah.
But knight b5 immediately also might work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Especially since you take here and it's just...
game over.
Well, you can interpose. I thought rook b8 would end it, but... Yeah, of course it ends it. Rook b8, bishop here, and we take it. And the queen drops.
Oh. You're sharp today.
Maybe. We'll see. So okay, I'm guessing b takes c5. I mean, how about bc5 and c6 knight b5 with double attack on a7 queen d6?
Which is what we just saw, yeah?
Yes, against chess, but then we can play like queen b6 or queen a6, which stops both threats. But I think it's bc2. Can you check the computer on chess 24?
I
You already did?
Yeah.
And what? Is it?
It's b takes c5.
It's b takes c5, okay.
I haven't looked at
HG.
the line though, but it said b takes c5 plus 2.5 or something, so I suspect.
Yeah, this looks very tempting, but can
Let's
black...
check the whole line.
He can play like d5 or e4 though to block the diagonal. So I'm wondering if we should... Maybe it takes first.
So after
Or knight b5 even.
Oh, actually there's a very nice move we made. So if you take on g5, there's a nice move here. Bishop takes b7.
Oh. Oh, very nice. Okay, king takes, oops. Rook b1. Can't go to the corner because of queen c6. So you'd have to go to c8.
Actually, this after king takes is mate in 6.
Yeah, king c7, queen takes, king here.
Queen.
Probably queen a6.
Yeah,
I mean, worst case scenario, win a queen. And if queen takes, we at least win the queen with rook b1.
Well, it's not over yet. So after king takes, on b7.
Bishop takes and king takes.
Rook b1.
King c8.
Yeah, queen a6. King d7. Still need to find a couple of precise moves.
I mean, queen b5.
Yeah, queen b5. King back to c8. Okay, I mean there's a few ways, but one way that will force mate
C6.
is push him, baby. Yeah.
Push him, baby.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so Gumi missed a very nice tactical shot there.
Yeah.
Instead, he took an f6 and played e4. Yeah, if he now takes, it's probably too late, and black might be able to counterattack with something like e4. Hitting this, then taking. It's one idea.
Let's get to the current position because I'm just seeing the clock times. Gumi is down to 5 minutes for his last 14 moves.
Okay, wow. Okay, so this happened. Fg, rook h, g8, takes.
Yeah, now
takes,
the
takes.
position has changed a lot,
Yeah,
obviously.
it's changed a lot. It's starting to open up. Gumi is already down a pawn. Doubled 8 pawns. And now
And
he
there
loses
goes
this
another one.
And
Okay, the knight is very nice on
he
d5.
gets a nice knight
After
at the
knight
cost
d5.
of 2 pawns though. But let's see, bishop e3.
The problem is the white king is
and
ugly.
The bishop will be very nicely placed on d4. And even though the knight looks good,
There's been a few moves.
What is he supporting?
More moves here. Gumi played queen a5, and Lagarde played b6, and the queen dropped back to e1.
Double attaccamento.
So I guess
bishop must go to f4 then, I guess.
check I can give. If
Yeah, we can. That's probably much better.
And get the
Give a
bishop to
check
d4.
and bishop to d4. Wow, where does the king go? Here?
The thing is, after bishop d4, can play rook d2. And
Yeah, that's true though.
just
So probably king b1 is more sensible.
But still, I mean, this looks.
Yeah, then I just double and.
Yeah, I mean, also the knight looks nice on d5, but it's not really doing anything.
No, you need other pieces with a knight for it to do something.
Past pawn is saying Gumi might very well be in trouble here. I think he's.
Yeah,
in
he's
big,
just
big
worse.
trouble.
I mean, he doesn't seem to have very good counterplay there, unfortunately. Did you want to have a quick look at Björsi on board?
Yeah, I wanted to look at Bjorn. He's on board. Where is
20
he?
something. 26.
Yeah, so let's go to board 26. Bjorn Thorfensen against Aditya Munshi.
He's from
England.
right? Yeah. A young player. Oh, hang on a minute.
It's over.
I met Björn in the hall earlier, and he was just chatting with a friend. And I said, "Why aren't you at the board? Are you feeling comfortable?" He was like, "Yes." So let's see. He plays bishop g5. I think it's called the Torre attack if you play g6, but it's like sort of a mixture between Torre and Trompowsky. Bishop h4, knight b to d2. And I know Bjössi plays this a lot, especially in online chess, where he has a pretty good rating on chess.com, or 2700 is his best.
By the way, I just saw that another result just dropped, a draw on board 11 between Alexander Fier and
Curly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just as we speak, another draw on board 16 between Tanya Sachdev and Johan Salomon.
Good result for Tanya. So yeah, he wants to play basically a stonewall with a bishop already outside the pawn chain. That's a big idea. Bishop e7, f4, and he seems to be getting there. F takes e5. Bishop to g3, bishop h4, queen g4, and h takes g3. Okay, opening up the h file, and he wants to castle queenside, I know that much. Queen to f4. Getting ready for action on the f file at some stage. Knight might become the g5, bishop a6, takes, g4, utilizing the pin. So you see, white has two sets of double pawns, but he's better developed. The pawn is pinned. He's got open files and he's controlling squares, so it's looking very good for white here. Takes on h5, g4 using the other pawn, and this looks very good for white. Knight g5.
Black is more or less stuck. It's very difficult to untangle. You can't move the knight, you can't move the king, you can't,
Well, this might be incoming like just here and then here.
Or also knight h7 and queen h6.
Yeah, rook c8, rook g8. Yeah, okay, rook g8, c5, he took it, and then he swung the queen over, queen to a4. And that's more or less all she wrote after black's next move. I mean, he could play king d8, but then I have several moves. Queen takes a7, knight h7.
h7 looks like it's just winning. Yeah?
But he played queen d7, which allows white to mate in one. And we're eagerly awaiting the first finisher in the chat. What's the finishing move? Somebody's saying
rook takes.
Rook takes knight.
One, Sharsikan.
Rook takes. Yeah, sufficient answer, but you know.
Crafty Wef is the first one to get it with proper notation.
Rook takes could be rook takes d6, which he didn't mean, but I'm just being nasty. Rook takes f8 ends the game immediately because the queen is going to be lost. Yeah. Look like an internet game.
While we were looking at this, yeah, it does actually. While we were looking at this, I asked in the chat if there was any requests for where to go next. So we've had a few requests. The first one is for Andrew Tang. We haven't seen him much, so let's go to his game on board 15, and he's playing against his fellow American Justin Sarkar, who also had a very good start to the tournament.
Maybe we'll just pull up the current position.
Yeah,
well,
I think we should
unless the opening was interesting. He did play the London. And knight h5, okay. Let's go to the current position. I was hoping it was the line that I don't know well.
White has just played a bishop takes f5 and e takes f5.
Okay, how did this come about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So equal material here, but Sarkar gets the pawn. But now, he takes on f5, you say.
And Paspon is saying that Daniel King likes this line for black. He thinks.
With knight h5.
I guess
so. It has been recommended in some places. So e takes f5, the last move apparently.
And the black, so black is a pawn up, but his structure and his king are not the best. Also, can I just take back on f5?
I don't see why I can't just take on f5.
Yeah, hitting f7.
Yeah, but we can give Justin Sarkar credit that his games aren't boring.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, actually, I'm not just attacking f7, but both f7 and d5, so it looks like the only move to defend both is maybe queen e6. And there you see the players on camera, Andrew Tang with his back to us, and Justin Saka, who's just made a move there. And meanwhile, we had another result. Jordan van Foreest has decided the all-Dutch clash in his favor, beating Robbie Kevilishvili.
Looks like a smooth game.
Yeah, it looked, even when I first checked in there, Jordan was doing very well, so he's moving to forward f5.
Maybe a quick look, but yeah, Andrew's position looks quite good here. He has some, again, I don't see why he shouldn't take on f5.
And in fact, he has.
Yeah.
He has. Black played queen e6. I think the only move to defend both.
And he did double, okay.
He did double. Rook d7. They're playing very quickly, actually. Rook d7 and queen b5.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh.
I
I mouse slipped the rook. It was supposed to go to f1. Rook d7.
I was thinking that's a weird
b5.
position we got ourselves in.
So yeah, black to move, and his problem is he'd love to move his king and connect the rooks, but then I might just play a move like queen d3, and because of the discovery, I would have to
Discovery Channel.
Discovery Channel. Nothing but mammals. Yeah, he would have to retreat with the king, so looks like very comfortable pressure for Andrew. And I predict a win from here.
Yes, I guess so.
So do we have some game we want to look at, or do we want to go quickly through
I think we had
Jordan's game?
One more request for Pragnananda's game on board 22, and he's playing against Atli Christiansen.
Oh, Atli Freyr, who started in the first round with a draw against Vladimir Potkin, which is pretty impressive.
Very good.
Very good. He has the black pieces, and material is equal, but
and Gumi unfortunately has lost his game against Maxime Lagarde. We just saw it. It looked
it just
terrible.
looked horrible. Yeah, the material equality seems only temporary because this pawn is about to drop.
Once again, that king.
And yeah, going back a little bit, seems like
pain.
Yeah, the square on f5 was black's undoing here. The knight jumps in, and he's probably going to take on h6. Well, yeah, why not take on h6? And white will be up a pawn, and black doesn't have much to show for it.
This seems to be pretty much game over, I would say.
So I would say this should be smooth sailing for Ramesh Babu, Pragnananda. So a quick look at Jordan's game, maybe?
Yeah, let's see.
He had a mating attack.
Mating
attacks are always fun.
Yep.
And
so we look at the game that is already over, the all-Dutch clash between Jordan van Foreest and Robbie Kevilishvili.
No, okay, I pulled up the wrong game. One moment.
Un momento,
por favor. Board 20, no.
Past pawn is saying, how Aryan Tari doing at Ingvar? We can go to Aryan Tari's game in a second. We actually skipped him. We checked all the top 6 boards and then we went to board 8.
Dagur Ragnarsson,
so we'll go to
our friend,
Tari.
already won. Dagur Ragnarsson, he won.
Oh, yeah, he won he was the first game to finish on the live board.
So Jordan had white against Robbie Kevilishvili, who already lost against Ali Reza?
He did, yes. In the second round.
We're just gonna keep. Let's put the live board on board 1 while we look at this one. Bishop to d3, g6, f3. Sort of a Dragendorf, where black goes both a6 and fianchettos the bishop, queen to d2. And this looked like well, judging from the final position, it looked like a nice attacking game by Van Forest. b4, the knight goes to e2, queen a5, b3, well, a2 was hanging, d5, breaking in the center, e5, knight to d7, and queen to e3. So at the moment, it looks like allowing this, it looks like black is struggling to make stuff happen on the queen side, and white should be the one controlling the play. He does sacrifice a pawn here, but he's breaking through. I mean, if you take this, you simply have no defenders on the king side, and I don't see how black survives after just some simple moves. So rook after c8, but now he takes. This opens the h file.
Oh, I just saw now that we have crossed stars and 300, I think, for the first time. So once again, thank you and welcome.
1,300.
Yep. 1,
Wow,
3, 3.
Very nice.
The semi-devil.
The semi-devil. Okay, so black is up a pawn, but that might be where the good news ends. C takes d3, and it seems like it's just full control for white. He's controlling all the squares on the enter squares on the c file. The queen controls this by the rook. So
I guess queen h2 was a threat. Queen h2.
Yeah, so that's why he played king
so
f8.
he's trying to run.
Rook h7.
You can run, but you cannot hide.
Stopping the rook from the king from running. Queen c6, queen d2, and after rook b7 and f5. Very simple plan. Black resigned because, well, even if you triple here or you play,
I was wondering just what happens if you take. I wanted to take with the g pawn just to not allow this, but I guess you can take on g7.
I think I take here,
and
it's just going to be made on h8. If you take the rook, otherwise you're a piece down.
Excuse me.
For nothing. So yeah, very smooth win by
nice game.
by Jordan.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go to Ariane Tari. Board 7 against Gupta Pritu, who is one of the players who had a perfect start here. Yesterday he lost quite a bad game, I would say, against Niels Guandelius, but other than that, a very impressive display.
So let's see how he played this time. He's been playing rather aggressively. We have sort of a Queen's Indian, and we'll just go quickly through the moves and see what happened. Knight d3, bishop takes b7. Okay, some complications. d2 takes on a8, and somehow things are clearing up, and white is a pawn up here. Bishop to d4, and it seems to me at first glance that black just shouldn't have enough compensation here.
Does he have any compensation?
I mean, there's some compensation. I mean, the light squares might be weak, and well, not now, but you know, this is a threat sometimes. But at the moment, the queen is. That's
a drastic way of dealing with this threat.
Let's just take it off. It's too dangerous. But at the moment, the queen is nicely posted on c6, just stopping any ideas of a mating attack.
Oh, Crafty Raf is saying Bream won against an IM rated 2384.
Okay,
he
nice.
I bet he has a fantastic coach, he says. I don't know if he was on the live boards.
No, I was here, 37.
Off the live boards.
So
against John Piggott,
who beat John Piggott
a couple of years ago beat none other than Alexei Shirov.
So great results for Stefan here.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he's getting a lot of experience, you know. Yeah. He beat Adjutang, he's playing an IM here that he beat, and he had a very tough game against, who was it? Brunello?
Yes.
Where he isolated the pawn. Yeah. We'll go over that and learn some important lessons, and he'll keep on improving. And
but soon, it's a fantastic result.
Soon he'll be much too strong for me. So I'll enjoy it while it lasts.
He can teach you in the future.
Yeah, in the future he will teach me.
So Passpon is saying thank you for checking out the Arjan game.
Yeah, it looks like smooth sailing for Arjan here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's go back to our top 4 boards. We haven't checked in with those guys in a little while. Start with Mr. Grandelius on board 1.
Okay.
I'll give you the move.
Let's just.
So we left it off.
After 18,
nice
knight
and
d to
early.
f4.
So after that, white played queen d2, bishop d5,
Attacking g2.
rook takes e8,
Rook takes.
rook e1, rook takes, queen takes, knight e6.
Aha. So
why
taking on
didn't he
g2,
take on g2?
It's not advisable, especially with a knight, because check at bishop e7. And if we take with a bishop, the knight would be needed, but okay, it's even not enough. The knight would be needed to defend, but in both cases it's going to be chopped off and white wins. So defending tactically. Oh, he took? No, what?
No, so he went to
Oh,
e6,
yeah, sorry.
he didn't take.
It was my line. Okay. No, he did. Okay, so queen takes e1, and the next move was
Knight e6.
knight.
e6.
Oh, it's back to move, yeah, of course. Okay, I'm starting to figure things out here.
Bishop e3.
Ah, okay.
And bishop takes d4. C takes. Knight h4. And knight e4.
Yeah, it's probably dangerous to take on a2. Bobby, it would be Bobby if you like, I guess. It would probably trap it with b3 or something. But he played knight h4, you say?
Yes. Knight h4 and knight e4. In the chat, Jagu wants to know what happened to Prague yesterday. He gifted a draw in a completely lost position. Well, it wasn't quite a gift. I think he, if you have a look at the game, he played this move rook e3, which seemed to be setting up a threat, a trap. But I think what happened is he got counter-trapped. So yeah, painful loss, but
yeah,
still
seems
many
like
rounds to come back.
Yeah, he blundered in a position that should have been draw. Shout out to Counter Sparks, who wants to
start a Puffins chant.
Start
You had a chant.
Start the Puffins chant.
You had one, didn't you?
The Puffins, the Puffins, the Puffins.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't make it this year. Hopefully, we'll make it to the Pro Chess League again next year.
Next year.
So we can have some fun streams with the Puffins.
They were really good fun, and I think very popular in the league.
Yeah.
I Am Nobody really is saying Niels is in trouble apparently after f5.
Aha. I mean, it already looked quite unpleasant. Knight h4, there's pressure on g2 again. And I really like this bishop
yeah,
for
the
black.
black pieces are nice.
And we have this isolated pawn.
Also, I Am Nobody really also wants to know what a puffin is. Can you do a good job of explaining?
What a puffin is?
Yeah.
It's a bird. It's a bird. It's a
You
plane.
should have bought your puffin.
I could have, yeah.
Maybe tomorrow.
I can bring my pet puffin.
Yes.
No, I need to find it because it just recently moved. So I'll
He
find
brought
it
it all the way to London for
I did.
Simon's crypt event.
Yeah.
And it distracted me so much. Actually, yesterday someone in the chat asked what our mutual score was, and I thought we hadn't played. But now that we speak of the puffin, you beat me in the crypt blitz.
And the crypt blitz, yeah. That was
and
a very
F5,
funny event.
by the way, has just been played.
Okay. So we like black here with the pressure and the nice bishop and the isolated pawn, and we already have knight d4. He had to block the attack here. And f5 now by Ovanesian.
Also, that's another good point. Alawiaka is saying you also. Oh no, wait. I was gonna say you're stopping the mate, but queen e8 would be a mate anyway. So that's something not to fall for. I think Hartza tried to copy an image of a puffin in the chat, but not very successfully.
Whoops, sorry. My bad.
And Mr. Sabon, yes, we did look at it. By the way, after the rounds are over, you can always watch the replay of the show in the video archive on my Twitch channel. I think in the future they will also be up on the Reykjavik Open website, maybe?
Yeah, and Reykjavik Open has a YouTube where we will store the recordings as well. But okay, what to do for Niels here?
And forget about it. He's saying he just had lasagna and ice cream, and he's not gonna make it.
I'm not gonna make it.
we're gonna rock the show for you.
So okay.
What do you call it?
What?
What's the when you do something for someone, not steady the boat? What's the expression I'm looking for? Can someone? What do you call this?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I also don't.
Mi scusi.
I know. I think someone in the chat will help me out because I'm having a brain fart, basically.
We'll cover for you.
Steady the ship. Maybe it's not with the ship. Yeah, something like that. But there's an expression. Anyway.
We'll hold the fort.
We'll hold the fort.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Knight c5. What else to do? I mean, if we move the knight back, I guess he will take. But you know.
He played. There's been a couple of moves. Did you see?
No, I did not see.
So after f5, Niels played f3. What?
Okay. He's attacking the knight here.
And the queen e7 was played almost immediately.
Wow, excuse me. And what?
Queen e7.
I hope I'm not catching anything because everybody.
I also woke up with a sore throat this morning.
Everybody.
If I get something, I'll blame you.
It's not my fault. Okay, maybe. But everybody at work was like going home, so hopefully we'll be okay.
You should really tell them that you're the Reykjavik commentator and you cannot
can't give me
work.
anything. You have to wait for like 8 days.
Well, you shouldn't even work.
I know.
You should get paid leave.
You're right. You're right.
During the tournament. That's what I think.
Okay, so did Queen e7 happen or no? Is that what you said? Yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
So if he had taken, I guess Niels was going to take here, and next move he'll take on e4, and that will actually spell trouble for black.
Because I knew you were trouble when you walked in. By the way, excuse me, I know I thought I had a new result.
Yeah, because if you take here, I will take on h7. Well, which may not be something.
Gupta won his game.
Spectacular.
For you Abhijit Gupta fans out there.
Trying to recover from the loss against Brian.
Yeah.
But okay, this didn't happen.
Prague, meanwhile, has won his game. We just looked at it a second ago.
Yeah, it looked completely winning. So Queen e7 is the last move played, right? And maybe, well, some tactical problems have appeared. First of all, where does the knight go? If it goes back to f2, I can take on f3. And you can't take back because you lose the queen. A simple fork. Tactical operation. Same with knight c3, I take on f3, so one would think that we play knight d2 to protect this, but there's another problem there. Knight takes d4.
Yeah, the white pieces
again,
are just so
very clumsy.
dodgy. Yeah.
So what do you do here? Maybe.
Knight c3.
Oh, there's a
Mr.
suggestion
Sabon.
by Mr. Sabon. Knight c3, bishop takes f3, and queen g3.
Right, the double attack.
Okay, that might be a way to escape here. If the bishop goes, well, I could go here maybe.
Oh, it's not even a double attack because the knight is defended.
Yeah, maybe white is just trying to get some desperate counterplay with d5 or something, but I don't see. Should be okay for black, and should be winning a pawn. So I wonder what Niels comes up with here, or
Niels there deep in thought. His clock time is not ideal either. He's under 7 minutes for 14 moves.
Against 16.
Yeah, so possibly a big upset. I mean, it's not a massive upset because there's only 50 waiting points between them, but still, Hovhannisyan is black.
I'm Icelandic FM with a Dutch accent.
Ingvar is a man of many accents, and many. I know. I'm so hallucinating. I thought it said maned monkey, but it says Nunia business, which is not quite the same.
It's not quite the same. So, yeah, we think Niels should be struggling somewhat here.
Yeah.
And again,
you know what I think we should do?
Maybe bishop f2 might be a move. When you hit the knight, and then your problems might go away. But okay, I take on e4. Yeah, it's getting complicated. I can take here. I was thinking g5, but then I might take here.
I think let's move on to board 2. I'll keep Niels' game open, and we'll come back to it if something happens. But for now, let's go to Firouzja.
Board 2.
Yeah.
And maybe since things are happening fast now, we should just stick to the current positions.
Yeah. This one, I don't know if so much is happening.
Yeah, we'll just
here.
go really quickly. We had this position with knight d8. He did play knight to e4, and looks like he gave up a pawn here. So Alireza is up a pawn, but is he losing it back here? So that's the question now. Potentially a critical position. Black to move. What's the move? Because if you move the rook, let's say rook to b8, the rook is after all under attack. I will take on a4.
Sorry, this has already been played.
Oh, okay.
b8,
Really?
the knight takes a4 is on the board.
And then your knight is pinned. You can't take on a4. So I'm guessing I'm guessing that Potkin probably fancies trying to hold this position. Maybe he can play rook c8 back. I don't know, or knight e6. When we take. And this may not be enough for a win, but of course white will press.
The question is, can you even hold on to that? Yeah, you can hold on to the pawn, I guess.
Yeah, we should be able to cover our bases with knight c3 in most cases.
And Sasha Barilovic is saying Russian school can hold this position easily.
Easily. Every Russian schoolboy.
Just moved knight e6. And you see Dan Smith on the camera.
Ah, yeah, maybe.
Is it him?
He's on a live port actually.
No, yeah, but he lost, unfortunately.
Oh, he lost?
Yes.
It was an interesting game though.
Is it him actually? My eyesight is...
He was playing...
No, it's not him actually. It's not
San Tomazzini.
Oh, is it? If it's not him, it's his doppelganger.
Yeah.
But I think it's him.
But we already mentioned him, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, he's playing this tournament, and he's a very accomplished poker tournament player. One of the best in the world. But he's testing his mettle in chess this time around and exploring Iceland. Seems like he's liking it as well.
So the rooks have come off, by the way. After knight e6, Alireza took on c7. And knight takes, and we'll get this ending. I think we should move on.
Yeah.
This is gonna be...
Alireza up a pawn, pressing for a while probably.
Absolutely. So let's go to board 3. Movsesian against Stefansson. Where do we go?
11 minutes for Movsesian, 10 for Hannes in the current position, which we'll just look at. Look at this position. Equal material, but white is pressing with some space advantage on the queen side. And
it reminds me a little bit. I mean, it's like in the Niels game, just the black pieces. Yeah, a bit clumsy, as you said.
So it's, last move was bishop to e7, rook to c8, and it's white to move here. So yeah, I mean, doesn't look like the most usual battery of the queen and bishop, but okay, we are protecting this pawn.
And something just happened here. After rook c8, white
knight
played
b6. Ah, okay, so this forces bishop takes, pawn takes, a very...
Yeah.
This is not looking good for Hannes, I think.
No. In fact...
Maybe bishop c4 first and then rook d1.
So bishop e6 has been played.
Yeah, it's black to move. Bishop e6. Otherwise, white will probably just play bishop c4 and we're in big trouble. Yeah. But black has a hard time just moving anything here. So white to move. I'm thinking if we can. We maybe don't even need to play rook a1. Maybe just queen d1. So the pieces can't move, but how can we take advantage of it? That's the big questione.
Yeah, it's a good question.
I mean, I think everybody would take white here, just unless you really love suffering.
Yeah. And Anna is here. She's standing outside the room. I think I gave her the wrong code the other day because I had the wrong code. I've also been standing. So she should be with us in just a second. I think we'll probably get her in immediately for maybe just 10-15 minutes and then
we should catch the end of the time triple.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
So, but let's just see.
But you know how to pull up the games if you want to. But
yeah, I think we'll most likely. Let's maybe keep on the live board game, the first board, Niels Guandelius against Hovhannisyan.
Yeah, for our producer Stully.
Yes, and Espen, thank you very much for subscribing. 7 months. And yeah, Anna will be with us in a second. Maybe you can open the door. I think she's probably right outside. Oh,
it looks like she got the code.
Probably better use the other door. No, she'll squeeze through. She's vlogging as well. Anna and I are both doing an Iceland vlog. It's her last day, but she'll be on the show in a second and tell you about this herself. So in the chat, by the way, I said, Crafty Ralph is saying I can already hear her. As we mentioned, we're not going to be looking at any chess with Anna. We'll just ask her about her time in Iceland. She's off to TwitchCon tomorrow. Ask her about that as well. And if you have any questions for Anna, now is your chance.
Hello,
here she is.
Hello, where's that camera? Shall I look here, here, here?
There.
Hi. I'm vlogging about this, obviously.
Let's mic you up. First things first.
Sure, thank you.
There you go.
Thanks. I may need to put this.
Anna is a multitasking genius.
I'm such a genius, obviously. I can only do one thing at a time. Like now I can't, I don't know why I'm recording the papers. Thank you.
Fiona, you just keep this like by your side, or do you, Fiona, or do you keep this?
I keep it on the floor usually.
Okay. This will be okay.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so I think we're all ready. So yeah, first question. Tell us, what are you doing here in Iceland?
I'm a tourist. I'm so happy to be here as a tourist. I was here in Iceland at the European Team Championship a few years ago and I really loved the place, but we only had one free day when we could explore Iceland and Reykjavik. So now that I'm just here hanging out with Alexandra and you guys, just being a typical chess tourist, I can think it's a chess tourist.
How does that feel?
Great, it feels great. Obviously, I cannot stop myself from doing things, so I'm vlogging, or every day I'm vlogging.
You've been streaming as well with Alexandra?
Yeah, so we still keep on doing our usual chess stuffs. It's difficult to post totally, but I'm not doing any commentary here. At least I thought until today I was not doing.
But now you are. I was saying I don't think I'm gonna harass you with any chess. I think just 10-15 minutes will keep you here to tell us about your time. Then we'll get Ingvar back for the time trial. Since Ingvar and I on the first day we were our frozen edge.
Hey,
first heart. Since Ingvar and I are playing, who do we think is going to win the tournament and who do we want to win the tournament? Well, I'll ask you, who do you think will win the Reykjavik Open? And who do you want to win the Reykjavik Open?
I think Alireza will win it.
That's the same as Ingvar.
I'm rooting for Niels to win.
She's picked a mix and match of Ingvar and I have Niels to... Well, I actually picked Niels for both.
Oh, I could pick Niels for both. Actually, why not? This chair is so high, though. I was like, why am I so tall? Fiona is taller than I am, but now I feel like I'm...
Yeah,
I managed. I'm going down.
Good. And a lot of people in the chat, by the way...
Oh, I see my emotes. Hey, hi Hedgehog, hi 64. I just realized I also have the chat in front of me. How are you guys?
So let me ask you, actually someone's saying, did you talk with Alexandra? She can use some psychological support, and did you see her game today? Is she standing better? This question comes up all the time. So have you seen her position today?
Yes, it's a very complex position. She's a pawn up, but her opponent has got the pair of bishops. So I think there's dynamic compensation for the pawn. But I believe that she's doing well, that she's going to defend the position. So she's under some pressure, even though she's a pawn. She's playing against a higher rated opponent. Funny thing is, I met her opponent on the plane here. I didn't know him, but imagine I took a flight from London very early in the morning, so as soon as I sat in my seat, I fell asleep because I spent the whole night waiting for my flight. It was the connecting flight in the middle of the night. So I fell asleep on the plane, and the moment I opened my eyes, I looked in diagonally that there's a person with a laptop, chess base on screen, and I'm like, I must be dreaming still. So I rub my eyes and I look again, it's still chess base on the screen, and he's studying the French defense. So I thought, this is a very nice dream.
I'm just trying to see, she's playing against an opponent from England. Funny, someone I never heard of, by the name of Viktor Stoyanov. But yeah, tell us also about, have you been helping Alexandra prepare? I know she's working with John Ludwig Hammer.
Yeah, she's got a coach. I mean, having a Grandmaster Hammer as a coach, I can only help preparing a cup of coffee or tea. I also did the shopping, so we have food in the room, and psychological help. I think that's the best I can do. Also, we do our singing a little bit.
Singing?
Yeah, she's famous for her voice. Okay. So we have our...
I saw her singing of the national anthem on your stream.
Yeah, we have some great singing sessions in the room. I hope we don't have neighbors.
How, a question back to you now. There was a question in the chat. Tonight you're releasing a new Alpha Zero video.
Ooh,
tell us about
people know about that. Well, it's an Alpha Zero game against Stockfish. What a surprise. There were so many requests for me to continue. I already covered one attacking game by Alpha Zero and another one that's more of a positional style, so I thought I was done and I can move on to other topics. But those of you who requested it, like hundreds of you, thank you. Now I'm listening to you. There were so many comments. Actually, my video will start with me showing how many comments I got on Can you please continue?
Wow. So that is being released tonight?
Yes, after Alexandra's game and probably after having dinner.
Okay, it's your last night. Tomorrow you're off to TwitchCon in Berlin. This is your first time at TwitchCon?
First time at TwitchCon. Are you guys coming? I'll be at the TwitchCon Berlin, so TwitchCon Europe. First time it's in Europe.
You're going with Eric, I guess, suppose you're on the same flight?
Yeah, but I didn't know he's coming too. We are on the same plane, but I didn't know that the chess bra himself, Eric Hansen, will be on the same early morning flight as I am. And tomorrow there's a Twitch partner party in the evening. I'm curious how that will be. And Saturday, Sunday, that's the official TwitchCon. There will be workshops, meetups. If you guys are there...
if you're in Berlin, this is your chance.
Yeah.
Frozen Edge, speaking of Berlin, Frozen Edge wants you to come to Ireland. So when will that happen?
I've never been to Ireland, but I would love to go. So if this is an invitation, I'm accepting it.
There's a lot of good weekend tournaments, of course, in Ireland. Banratty, my favorite. Kilkenny, I've never played. We have someone else from Twitch in the chat, Rocket. Oh, he has the TwitchCon emote.
Oh, nice.
Whatever that's called, but everyone get crunk.
Good to know. Where can we hear the rapping? The rapping is coming later.
I just wanted to ask you about that since we are talking about when your videos are being released. You were in Chile this winter with Joga, and you recorded quite a bit of videos, I believe. So I'm also very curious, when is that being released?
I didn't know it takes so much time to make a music video come together. So we filmed my first attempt at singing. I was given singing lessons by Huga for 7 days, and every day we filmed the lesson. So that's like a mini documentary on Anna trying to learn to sing. It's 7 days of singing lessons, and on day 8 I had to perform.
Can you already give away what song it is, or is that a secret?
Yeah, I can give it away. I posted about it, so it's not that much of a secret. It's a Guns N' Roses song, Patience, by Guns N' Roses. Patience is required in chess, so we thought it was a fitting
Very
topic.
interesting. I'm very much looking forward
Thank you.
to seeing that. Since I am running out of questions, let's take a look at board 1, because Anna is obviously, for those of you, I'd be very surprised if there's anyone here who doesn't know you, but she's of course not just a chess tourist, she's an international master. Actually, she has a higher title than Ingvar. So let's take advantage of you being here, and let's check the Niels game, if I can find it. We have a lot of games open here, but it's right on top. So I'll just give you the moves. We'll update it. When we last looked at it, it looked like Niels was in some sort of trouble. So we saw it after on move 27. Wait, actually,
Knight
after
F2.
Queen, he didn't go to. Sorry, after F3, he played Queen E7.
So Queen
So
E7.
this was and then Bishop F2 was played.
Attacking the knight on H4.
And we thought that Black is in trouble because his pieces are somewhat clumsy, also some time trouble for Niels. So after Bishop F2, Black played Knight takes F3. So things get tactical now. What's happening here?
G takes F3 and then F takes
and F takes E4. And a few more moves still. Bishop takes E4. Bishop takes E4, Queen takes E4, Queen D7. So things are getting simplified now. Queen E5 and A4, and that is the position on the board.
I would be a little scared about White's king side after this sacrifice. So you guys realize that the knight was hanging on H4 and Black went for this tactical motive. This knight is about to be captured, so Black takes on F3 first to weaken the White king, and then he captures the E4 knight. The good thing I see about Niels's position is that there have been so many trades, as you said, that the position is simplified. So he shouldn't be that scared about the kingside attack. It's only the Black queen and the knight that are on the board, and even those pieces are not attacking that much.
They are famous at tanking combination, but of course now at the moment they're still very far away from the White king. Another thing needs to be worried about is his clock situation. He's down to 2 minutes.
And it's move 20,
9 moves to
31.
go. 9 moves to go. It's difficult. What could be a possible plan here for Niels to try and somewhat stabilize, let's say?
I think he has done well centralizing the queen, so the queen is very well placed on E5. The question is how can he activate his bishop as well, but that's going to be more problematic because of this isolated pawn on D4, and also the F3 and H3 pawns are weak. So his pawn structure is much weaker than Black's one, but he's trying to compensate for it with the active queen. The bishop, where could it be useful? I'm dreaming of having it on the long diagonal and push d5 in the right moment. I think that's a big dream, especially since the g7 pawn is well protected. Oh, I'm not going to sacrifice the queen. That was a mouse slip.
Actually, Niels has just played and he played h4.
Oh, but that could be a good idea because the pawn was weak anyway. So why not go and sacrifice it on h6? Well, sacrifice it or trade it. He wants to weaken the Black king. So h5, h6, that's an idea I like.
At least finally he's getting some counter chances, because throughout the game it was a game where Niels, I don't think this suits his style. Like, he was somehow passive. It was Black who had all the play. Let me just see, I haven't missed any questions. Someone's asking if the Firouzja game is over. No, that's still going. What is over is Gawain Jones has won his game. And that's all from what we've had a look at so far. So I'll ask you, do you want to have a quick look at the Firouzja game with us? Or?
Sure, definitely.
Okay,
I'm curious
so we'll have a look at the Firouzja game and then we will let Anna go.
So Firouzja's
Percy is saying He's saying, I'm not used to listening to Anna's commentary without John sat next to her saying, guys, Anna has been torturing me for the last hour with this game. Of course, referring to John Urschel, former football pro turned chess amateur and famous mathematician.
Sometimes happens. Sometimes. Not this Friday though. Tomorrow I'll be at TwitchCon, so John will need to be tortured by someone else for one day.
Yeah. The Firouzja game, the Firouzja game is actually, I wish I had taken you. I don't think we're gonna look at this one. In fact, I'll give you a more interesting game for your last one, because the Firouzja game hasn't changed so much from when we last saw it. He's up a pawn, he's pressing. When we saw it, we thought Potkin should be able to hold it, but they're already very close to making the time control. So let's instead maybe go to Mathieu Cornet, because earlier Ingvar and I had stopped at our tour at board 3. So Mathieu Cornet, actually, I'm gonna try and see if I can manage to download the game, because so many moves have been made here. Let's see if I can do it without Mr. Ingvar. So this is the first step. This is the second step.
Easy.
I'm a technical genius.
Well done, Fifi.
I mean, I watch him do it every day for 5 days, so it's not that impressive. Let me give you back the chat as well. There we go, now you're all set. So yeah, this is the position on the board. This is a very interesting one. I'm currently, I need a few moments to even understand what's going on here.
There's a lot of chat for Anna to not leave.
I think that's just...
Cheers, Ingvar.
Cheers.
Ingvar is enjoying his break. That's all we say about that.
I see I also have some Icelandic water, so I will not complain. I love these bottles. They look like the mountain range.
They are a sponsor of the tournament, the Icelandic glacial water. The players get free water during the games. And I also have Hydrate bot. What's he called? I didn't even know I had that bot. Stay Hydrated bot, but he has been absent today. So yeah, anyway, so this game between Mathieu Cornet.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tune in. So the last moves, we could look at the last couple of moves.
Yeah, let's go back a few moves.
Wow. So there's this King F7. Yeah, Black's position, if we stop here just for a moment, what I see is that Black is struggling because he's got this E6 weak pawn. So the knight on D8 is tied down. Can I draw?
You can, yes.
Oh, awesome. The knight on D8 is tied down to the defense of the E6 pawn. It's under the pressure because of this diagonal. So he tries to defend it with the king. But after Queen D6, now there's even more pressure on E6, and this knight is hanging. Therefore, Black played bishop to D5. Now that's a very smart way, to defend the knight, because he doesn't have squares for the knight. The only way to defend it would be to move the queen back to the back rank or to D7. But
which would be very depressing.
It is super depressing. So instead he goes bishop D5. It's a very good idea, I think. I don't know how he's surviving at the moment, Black, but for now what I see is that at least he has managed to trade that really dangerous bishop on the A2 G8 diagonal, and after this capture he's threatening to trade queens as well.
I guess for Black it's good, every piece that comes off will ease in the pressure, let's say.
Yes, he's sacrificing the A6 pawn, but White's king is so vulnerable that I don't think that White can allow this check, because once the Black queen is activated, now this would be, for instance, winning a piece for Black. If the king goes to H2, I don't think this is much better. There are so many good options. Queen takes H5 should be one of them, or Queen E2.
Maybe Queen D2.
Yeah, so D2 as well. Yeah, this attacks everything. Queen E2 or Queen D2 I was looking at. Bishop is hanging, the pawns are hanging with checks. This is just resigns. So he had to go for the queen trade as well. And that means that this Bishop D5 move is actually very strong. And we shall see how this endgame is after the trade of queens. White played bishop to d4, and Black is waiting with the trade. He's not in a hurry, because if he takes, that creates a pass pawn for White. This is a very dangerous pass pawn. He doesn't want to take on d6. He goes knight d to c6 instead. Bishop c5. this is the kind of game where both players are waiting for the other to take the queen, so white wants black to capture the queen and vice versa. For now, there's just this huge tension there on d6 and d5, and neither of the players will capture.
Well, interestingly, after white now played king h2 in this position, and then black was first to crack, and he took on d6.
Probably he felt like it's time to take because he has brought his king already closer, so the pawn cannot be pushed to d7. He's going to move the knight. If it's captured with the pawn...
It was captured with the pawn. He moved the knight to d5, and white now went knight g6.
Knight g6, that's one of the few ways in which white can defend the f4 pawn. Yeah, this is an interesting endgame. So the black king will be blocking the passed pawn with king to d7, but that's not that simple. There will be always checks that can chase the king away. So there are still tactical elements in this position because of the passed pawn. It's a very advanced passed pawn, and that gives tactical motives to white. If there weren't any, then black wouldn't be in trouble because white's pawn structure is also weak, especially this f4 pawn, and if black could later somehow attack the queenside pawns.
Lupulescu has now gone knight f6, and it feels like he has somehow managed to turn the situation around quite a bit here during the time scramble phase.
Yeah, the h5 pawn is dropping. So I agree with you that he somehow not just managed to defend and escape from a position that looks inferior, but he may be turning the tables completely if this endgame is that good. Picking up the h5 pawn is crucial, of course. Yes, knight f6 is a very good move. He doesn't allow...
And we can't defend the pawn.
Yeah, there's no defense, so he's picking up the pawn next move. The only question is if there's any way to somehow push d7, but both the f8 square and the e5 squares are under control. If he goes knight e5, I think black will just take, and then he captures the pawn. And the d6 passed pawn is still very strong, but alone it cannot do anything. So you would need the white king to be on c6 or c7.
Most likely this ending would be winning for black, the pawns on the king side.
Yes. Yes, even though the black king is always tied down to the d7 and d8 squares, so it's not that simple, because even with an extra pawn, he will need to move away the knight, start pushing the g and h pawns, but only the h passed pawn alone and the knight, I don't think that's enough, because he cannot bring the king. That's the problem with this trade. Maybe that's what white will do to secure this passed pawn. And that means that the black king can never be activated. You either need to use the black king or the black knight to block this pawn. And only a king or knight plus the h passed pawn, I think that's still a draw.
And no, we didn't announce that Zibit, who's now in the chat, Tari won his game against Pritu, moving to 4 out of 5.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I think, Anna, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give in to the crowd and keep you here a little bit longer, just until the board one clash between Niels and Hovhannisyan reaches the time control, because that's an interesting one. Only 4 moves away. So after h4, black now played b5. So both players pushing their pawns on the respective sides. White played b3. A takes b3, a takes, and queen d5, offering the queen trade. White played queen e4, so trying to trade the queen in favorable conditions. And now black played g5.
Wow, that's a move I did not see coming. Queen e4 I like. As you said, we don't really want to trade here, because this minor piece endgame, here it's a good knight versus bad bishop. The f2 bishop is way less active than the e6 knight. Also, if we look at the pawn structure of white, all the pawns are isolated and weak, and that means that the bishop will have to be protecting the pawns. Black can activate the king, and this, I'm not sure how much of an advantage it is, but only black can play this for a win. While if we trade on e4, that's the idea of Niels, that would connect the pawns, and he would have an e-passed pawn after this capture. And these pawns are finally, they are mobile again. You can push e5, you can push d5, depending on the position. So obviously black doesn't want to take on e4, but g5, wow, what a move.
Yeah, I also have to say, did not see this coming at all. After g5, Niels took on g5. Knight takes g5, queen e8 check.
Mouse slips.
So queen e8 and king g7, and that's the position on the board. Niels' clock was ticking down towards 10 seconds.
Ooh.
With 12 seconds on the clock, he played queen e7 check.
With 12 seconds. But he usually gets into time trouble.
Yeah, very often, yes. So queen e7. Now, where is the king gonna... knight f7. The king didn't go anywhere. Knight f7. Two moves to go for Niels, but one of the problems is he will have to try and find moves that don't compromise his position too much before reaching move 40.
Yes, and right now he has to deal with the immediate threat of the pawns that are hanging, the f3 pawn and also the b3 pawn. The only way I see for protecting both of them is to bring back the queen.
He brought it back to e4 instead. So I don't know if because he's hitting c6.
He wants to take on c6, yes. This is smarter because it's more active. Once again, he's trying to trade on e4, and if queen takes b3, he captures the c6 pawn, so it's only a trade.
The only thing I'm worried about after queen e4 is he will not have had time to evaluate the resulting ending that would result, the resulting ending that would arise after swapping the queens. Of course, it's impossible to have calculated this within 30 seconds, but how would you evaluate this ending?
I feel like it's better than before, so anything that's an improvement. Earlier he had his pawn on f3, so if in this position we imagine that the queens are off of the board, just like you lift them off of the board, then white has a b3 pawn, d4 and f3 pawns. They are very weak, but all of them are isolated, and the bishop is not doing much. While after the trade on e4, once again, he would manage to connect his pawns. He's got an e-pass pawn, and finally these pawns are mobile, as we saw in the other line. That means that the bishop will be active too, because if you can manage to push d5, for instance, and then the bishop will be supporting the d pawn.
I was just wondering what happens if you hit the e4 pawn immediately, either with knight d6 or knight g5. I'm not sure which square is better.
So if there's something concrete, that's what you're worried about.
I'm not sure. I'm wondering if maybe d5 is an option here, because I don't really want to play e5 and get my pawns blocked on the dark squares.
Yes, you are right that this is what black would like to achieve. If, for instance, a black king gets to d5 in a position like this, blocking the white pawns on light squares, this will be an advantage for black. But you're right, I think there is enough dynamic potential in this position with d5, because the c6 pawn is also hanging. So if knight takes e4, d takes c6, and this king and pawn endgame would be winning. White actually doesn't even need to take the knight because the pawn promotes.
And also, I believe white, who is the one fighting for a draw in this position, will be happy for every pawn that is being swapped off, which will take him closer to the draw.
True. Although if we get an endgame like this, I think Niels will start playing for a win.
This one, maybe, yes. Yeah. Anyway, all this is irrelevant because Hovhannissian did not take on e4. Instead, he played knight g5.
Forcing Niels to either capture on d5 or move the queen away, but the queen can't really move unless it's a check.
So Niels, he did go back to e7. So I guess Hovhannissian decided to make the time control, maybe banking on the fact that Niels will be maybe forced to go back to e4. He did play knight f7 back, so we have a move repetition, but just once. So I think what Hovhannissian is doing is very smart. He only had 2 minutes on the clock, which is not a lot to evaluate the resulting ending. So now he's probably banking, and Niels has played queen e4, and now he's made the time control, so he's gotten his additional half hour, and now he will have all the time in the world to figure out.
So queen e4, and now if Hovhannissian goes back, that's the third time already, isn't it?
I think so. I have to say I'm very surprised that Niels only took 40 seconds to go back to e4, because I thought he would also want to take the time to to calculate or evaluate the ending more. But anyway, this is the situation they've made at the time control. So I believe I'm going to let you off. It's Anna's last night in Iceland. She's off to TwitchCon in Berlin tomorrow morning. Final question for you that I spotted in the chat earlier is
I'm gonna look at the chat too. I have it somewhere here,
yeah,
right?
it's in the pop-up. Yeah,
Oh.
there we go. Crafty Ralph is saying, wish Alexandra the best for the rest of the tournament. And he also earlier wanted to know if you know if she's going to be streaming from here more, if she's going to be focusing on the tournament.
Yes, so we streamed on Monday and we were planning to stream more. Probably tonight we will stream. I can't promise it because it also depends on how long her game is. We'll need to have dinner and it depends on how well the equipment will work. We tried to make the stream work on her laptop, so she's got a MacBook and somehow it didn't recognize her webcam, which is very strange. Yeah. So we had some technical problems. We do have my laptop, which I got from you guys, so thank you. I have my new gaming laptop here in Iceland, and that's what we used on Monday for the stream. So if it doesn't work out on Alexandra's equipment, then we're gonna use my laptop. And after I don't know how she will do it. We hope to fix her laptop as a start, and then we can have both streams on.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Anna, for dropping by. Enjoy your last night here, and most of all, a lot of fun in Berlin. And I'm sure we'll see you again very soon. If you are not following Anna already, what are you doing with your lives? Make sure to follow her on Twitch and all other platforms. I think I'm going to ask for a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll be back with Ingvar between 5 to 10 minutes from now with all the action and catch up with all the results. Thank you very much, Anna, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, Fiona. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Stay with Fifi. She's gonna handle this Nils game as masterfully as she can.
I'm sure I will.
No, the endgame analysis was brilliant, so you don't need me here. I'm just gonna go and touristy again. I'll take photos, I have my video footage, but yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
We'll be looking forward also to her Iceland vlog. So yeah, we'll see you later. Thank you, Anna.
See you guys in Berlin and maybe on Twitch tonight.
And we're back, round 5, still here from Reykjavik Open. Happy to have Ingvar back. Anna is still in the room behind the camera, filming her for her vlog. It was very nice.
Sorry I brought down the aesthetic quality of the stream, but...
Don't say that. Don't put yourself down like that, Ingvar. But yeah, we're going to go straight back to the games. In a second, we'll come to board 4 because you see on camera the board is set back. The game is over. Mathieu Cornet has lost in a shocking fashion in the time scramble, but we'll see that in a second. But
not a lot of games actually left.
Yeah, very. It's every day. It's the same. Once the time control is reached, a lot of games finish together. But we'll go back to my cup. Yeah. Also, Stay Hydrated Bot has made a first appearance for today. So cheers, Stay Hydrated Bot.
I'm hydrated, so I'm good.
Hydrated with...
I might be too hydrated. With Icelandic glacial water, Fiona, what are you talking about?
I like in the chat, there's our emotes, mine and Anna's. You need to get your own emote.
Maybe, later. On your channel?
No, on your channel.
Oh, okay, yes. Eventually, maybe. Hopefully.
Maybe a puffin emote.
Yeah, I like it. The puffins. Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go back to Niels on board 1 because just before Anna left, I was saying that I was a bit surprised that Niels didn't take more time to go back to e4.
For the first move.
Because the first time he'd played it, okay, he was playing on increment, but so they repeated once or twice. Mm-hmm. And here, if black had gone knight g5, I think we would have a threefold repetition. But now, actually, Hovhannissian only took 2.5 minutes to take on e4.
He took?
Yeah,
takes,
he took and played knight g5. And actually, we looked at this with you and Anna on the break. So Anna and I had been wondering, can white potentially play d5 here? And it's actually very unlucky it doesn't work. Because after the check on h3...
Yeah, it looks like it might be simplifying and should be okay, but this move is devastating.
Yeah, and after king takes, king g2...
First of all, if you take, and if you just take, I simply take...
And the outside passer...
The outside passer decides, I just bring my king, I take your pawn, and etc. But the key point, as pointed out by Anna, is that
if you take on c6,
the knight is just in time.
Yeah.
Like,
so close.
So close.
Yet so far.
Yeah, and that wins. So Niels did not play d5, but instead
he played king g2.
Yeah. e5 would hold on to the pawn, but maybe we can...
This is what we said with Anna. Maybe
can we do that?
But what Anna was saying is that if you bring the king to d5...
the light squares, it just looks horrible because we can just, dance around, put the knight on e6, take,
eventually.
Outside passer, just looks horrible.
Yeah. So instead, Niels decided to give up the e4 pawn, played king g2, black took on e4, of course, and bishop e1. But I mean, this endgame was already horrible with equal material, but a pawn down...
It must be just lost.
It must be lost, yeah. I don't believe that white, unfortunately. I mean, you know what was funny? You missed it, but I asked Anna the same question we had been debating. Who does she think will win the tournament and who does she want to win the tournament? Yeah. And without knowing our answers, she chose a mix and match of ours. She said Ali Reza will win and I want Niels to win.
Okay.
Which is a mix between our answers, so that was quite funny.
So I had Ali Reza.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll win, you had Niels.
Yeah. But today is a very painful defeat for Niels. I mean, he hasn't lost yet, but unfortunately, I don't believe in his chances to hold this. And he's going to have to score a few wins in a row to come back.
So it looks like my prediction is doing quite well today.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's next see how the game on board 4 concluded between Mathieu Cornet. Mathieu Cornet, who Anna, as she was pointing out, he was doing so well, even before the position that we had seen.
Even the early position that we looked at.
I
mean, there wasn't like an easy plan, but white was never worse. So where did you
So
have a
we
look
left
at
it off. Yeah, we
I
had
saw you were having a look
all
at some
this. Yeah.
some nice lines here.
Yeah, all of this we had a look at until the queens came off.
Here.
So this we saw, and we saw knight d5, and we saw knight g6, and knight f6 we saw. And the problem is that h5 is dropping.
Yeah.
So Mathieu now must have had an absolute blind spot in this position. I mean, they were in time trouble.
Yeah, last move.
And it looks like, okay, even if he hadn't blundered, this is probably winning for black anyway, because once h5 drops, everything kind of collapses.
Yeah, so even if he played knight f8, so...
He played knight f8. My guess is what must have happened is, so black took and Mathieu resigned. I think what must have happened is he must have missed that after king takes f8,
yeah,
d7 check. He must have missed that the knight is covering. Yeah.
And especially that the king can also come to cover the square if you go bishop here. But he spent 4 minutes on knight f8, so he must have...
4 minutes?
Yeah.
That's insane.
But he just didn't
know.
find anything maybe. And
but I don't know. No, I mean, still, you'd never play
even knight f8, okay, you're attacking e6. Even if you don't take on f8, I mean, what happens here? Maybe, no? Okay, d7 would happen here, actually, so at least there's an idea, but just king takes f8 and it's game over.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Unfortunate loss for our karaoke singer.
Yeah.
Mathieu.
And actually, I'm just realizing now we have so many decisive results today. We only had, out of all the games that are already finished, which are quite a few, only 3 draws.
3 draws, that's it.
On the top 10 boards, we already have 5 decisive results out of 5. And we're probably going to get a couple more. Yeah. Actually, I don't see any.
Yesterday we had a lot of draws.
It's insane, actually. Let's continue our tour. Let's go to board 2, because one game which we thought earlier that Potkin was going to be able to hold, it looks like Alireza has made a lot of progress.
Alireza.
Yeah.
So should we just see the current position, or
maybe.
Is it a while since we looked at this?
Oh, we can click through. I haven't looked at this with Anna, so we could quickly...
Yeah, we had this before, me and you, and
exactly.
96, we had this. And let's just see what happened. Of course, the end game, I mean, the battle lines are pretty simple. White wants to push this pawn and hope that it wins the game.
And Hedgehog is making a good point in the chat, or not a good point, but an interesting comment. He's saying, I think this level of chess is far more entertaining than a group of super GMs throwing each other to a standstill.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Unless when Magnus is in like beast mode, then
like he was in Shamkir, which was absolutely astounding. But yeah, I really like in general opens, and especially strong opens like this, because it's not like this is a weak open, you know, where it's just like...
Exactly.
But I think we have some very, very interesting players here. Some of, you know, the world's most promising talents, like Alireza, like Prag, like Gukash, just to name a few. And very fighting players like Niels Grandelius, like Gawain Jones, like a lot of these top guys. And I think today, you know, we see the result. Like we have so many decisive, not only decisive games, but very interesting games. No short draws. So yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of players that have played in, I can say, in the top group. Like Mosesian played many years ago against Kasparov. Jordan played this year. Gawain played, I think, last year.
Yeah. He had qualified for it by winning. He had a famous game against Magnus. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said in the game, okay, White just wants to push the A pawn, and the question is now what happens if it takes the pawn on A2? Well, probably that comes at too big a price when we get the pawn on E7, and the pawn on F6 would be weak. So he decided against it, play King E8, Rook A7, and now in the next few moves the pawn started to advance. Rook B7, King D8,
You know,
A6.
I have to say this is a side of Alireza we hadn't seen yet during this tournament, because he had a lot of crushing attacking games. But today he displayed some really impressive positional and, you know, endgame
and probably
grinding style.
Well, I was going to say I thought he must have prepared something, but he did take some time in the opening. I mean, he spent 2 minutes on move 4 and 8 minutes on move 5 already. So
Yeah.
just looks like it might be a pretty nice game. So knight c8, but still it's not over. I mean, it's looking promising, but the key question is, will the pawn be enough? So knight c8, I think we have to take.
Yeah.
If we move the knight,
good.
then
The pawn will drop.
pawn will drop.
Okay, so let's have a look.
Knight takes e8, so which way to take? King takes, I probably take on e7 and h7.
Yeah, and that ending will
And
be
that,
enough.
yeah, that should be enough. The king is blocked off, so we'd have to take with the rook.
And what if
And
I
what's
just
going on?
push
If I just
a7?
play a7
Actually, this
here?
is over even
Is it just
immediately.
over, or what?
And he has taken on c8. I don't know if we can get the players on camera or if they are already on camera, because I think we'll have a handshake right now, actually. I mean,
Still, do you have board 2?
unless
On
Potkin
camera.
fancies... yeah, I'm lagging behind a
Yeah,
bit.
I know, just in case.
But yeah, I don't think that Potkin will want to be shown how to win a rook ending 2 pawns up. No, he has gone for this, so let's have a quick look.
Un momento, por favor. He has gone for what?
What were you even answering? Because you didn't see the comment. I also didn't see the
I
comment.
saw the comment.
Ah, you saw it?
Yes, I'll tell you later. It was
You'll
the
tell
most
me
boring
later.
subject ever.
So yeah, he did go, of course. Well, we thought rook takes, loses, but no, king takes, loses, but rook takes, of course, loses on the
loses
spot.
immediately. So king takes.
So king takes,
and he's going to try to
took on
defend this.
e7, rook takes
You
a6,
have to take
rook
a6.
takes h7 and f5.
Yeah, I think it's just prolonging a lost game. Your king is cut off on the 7th. It's also, you need some moves to just get closer.
John Ludwig is back in the chat. So, any Alexander updates, Fiona? I don't have any because I had a quick break, but I stayed here doing some stuff. But Anna was in the show not so long ago, and she had looked at Alexandra's game. She said she was a pawn up, but she was slightly worse. She was under pressure. Actually, let me just see. Before asking John Ludwig, did you even check that her game was still going? I guess he probably did. Yeah. So yeah, that was the last update I had about 45 minutes ago. Pawn up, but suffering.
Okay. But a strong opponent and the win today, then she would be edging closer to the demonstration board.
So f5 is on the board. I think maybe we can leave... I don't know if we need to leave the camera on these players. What do you suggest? Shall we go to... Let's go to board... no, board 3 is over. We missed it. Another win. A win for Movsesian against Stefansson. Shall we see how it concluded?
Exactly, yeah. And I think this one should...
just be over.
Just be over. I mean, the king is cut off.
Aman is still playing, so after board... after seeing how Movsesian beat Stefansson, we'll go to Aman.
So Movsesian against...
And Niels... Oh,
Hannes.
sorry.
Yeah.
Niels has lost. We missed that. Are they still on camera? They're gone, probably, I guess. Board 1. Niels just resigned after basically what we saw. We'll get... let's have a look at Movsesian first. So yeah, I mean, we're still... Ingvar, this is unbelievable.
A lot of decisive
on the
games.
top 10 boards so far, 7 decisive results, no draws. Incredible stuff.
So,
and there we see, we just see on camera Hovhannissian putting on his coat. Very nice game by Hovhannissian, very impressive.
So we had this position looking very promising for Movsesian. Bishop pair and black is really cramped. And he transformed it kind of to a damaged pawn structure on the king side as well. Rook a1, taking the a file, you can put the rook on a7, you can swing it over. And attack, looking pretty bad for Hannes actually. Queen e7. Movsesian wins a pawn, Hannes tries to activate, but Movsesian has it all under control, takes another pawn, and there are no tricks it seems for Hannes.
No
H5.
counterplay at all, yeah.
There's nothing, just nothing going on here. Bishop c4, queen f5, and
Oh,
very nice finish.
Yeah.
Rook g6, he just took it, and Hannes resigned. So
yeah, because after king takes, and we'll just get a new queen, and there is nothing
Yeah,
after king h2.
there's nothing going on here. Okay, we get the pawn, but now we start checking.
The black king, yeah, will be mated. Very nice.
Wow. So a small consolation for the Manchester United game yesterday.
Yeah.
So Obsession wins, which puts him in the top spot with his compatriot Hofnesian.
Yes. And they've already played each other.
Yeah.
So so far on 4.5.
And most likely Alireza.
Most likely Alireza, yeah. So we'll have most likely 4 leaders tomorrow on 4.5 out of 5. Let's go to just see how the Niels game concluded. I'll give you the final few moves because we only missed a couple of moves.
Oh yeah, then I'll just pull it up what we had, which was Alireza.
It's the top one.
Fair enough.
So
we had 44 bishop to e1.
yeah. So black just did what we had thought he would do, even with equal material. He played king f6, king f3, king f5, king e3, knight f6.
Yeah, just bring the knight to d5.
King f3, king e6. There's really nothing white can do here. It's terrible. Bishop h4, knight e8, king e4, knight d6, king f4, king d5, bishop f2, knight b7, and Niels had seen enough. The knight is going to come to a5.
Unusual square b7,
Yeah.
but of course, like Fiona said, it's come to a5, and you have to put another pawn on a black square, and then we just penetrate with the pawns and use the deflection on the h file if we need to, which we probably even don't. So Niels didn't want to suffer anymore, and
let's quickly get the camera
Alireza
on
has
board
won. Board 2. Can we get the camera if we're not?
Although, I mean, unbelievable. 8 out of 8 decisive results on the top board so far. There we see the players analyzing on board 2. So let's leave them on camera until they leave. We can watch them analyze, and we'll meanwhile bring up the board of Aman. Only 2 games still going on the top 10.
I will just leave the camera and the live board, so our producer doesn't have to worry about that. We'll just put up the analysis board on Aman's game.
So 2 games still going in the top 10. Aman Hambleton against Erwin Lamy and Tigran Petrosian against Quentin Loiseau, which we haven't seen yet at all.
Yeah,
the next game that's still going is Bruno Brunello against Alex Asani Lopez, so we'll have a look at that in a second as well.
So I guess we haven't checked in with Aman since the early middle game.
Yeah, should we
he was up a pawn.
maybe go back a few moves? Or what do you want to do?
Yeah, okay, let's go. He won the pawn here, queen takes b5. And we had this endgame, we actually left it at rook a8. And since then, that's only half the game, so let's really quickly go through the moves. Aman just wants to make the pass pawn count, like we said earlier in the broadcast.
Actually, now that the players are gone, I'm sure our producer can work his magic again and zoom on to Aman, especially for all you Chessbra fans out there. He's sitting there by the window. Even in this shot, you can see him in the distance in the white shirt. So we'll try. There we go. That was quick work. Very quick work.
So the last few
Aman
moves,
had a shave, but his hair is still
He
strong.
had what?
A shave.
Oh.
Since yesterday.
Okay, so the moves we were just looking at, a lot of repetition, but Aman was just reaching the time control, so didn't want to take a decision. And seems like not a lot has happened. He's just getting ready to break through at some stage. Knight b3 now, finally attacking the pawn on a5, so clarifying the tension. So Erwin has to take on b4, and he plays e5 himself. Knight comes into c5, king h6, rook f1, and that's where
The
we are
position
at.
on the board, 15 minutes for Aman, 28 for Erwin. Aman still up his pawn. Would you say his conversion chances have improved?
Yes. I mean, why not? I mean, okay,
How do we win
the
this
pawn is still on
position?
b4, but I mean,
Push him, baby.
yeah, push him, baby. What do you do with past pawns? Push him, baby. And there's another weakness for black as well.
Aman is looking very calm and composed as well, and confident.
So I'm wondering. So rook f1, he doesn't want to trade on e5. So he wants black to take on f4 when he takes with a pawn.
And we just had a move actually. Erwin played e4.
Yeah, or he wants him to play e4 as happened in the game. And I'm thinking that Aman feels that his pawns are blocking off his opponent's bishop very nicely. And I guess he would maneuver the bishop now to c2 and b3, hitting the pawn on.
Once again, I mean, it's such a nice
d5,
position to play for Aman because there is not really any counterplay that he needs to worry about.
After knight b6, here, maybe there's even.
Are you considering taking?
Yeah, just taking.
Take here. I thought you wanted to take the e4.
Yeah, if you take on d3, I take on f6, and you can't protect d5, so that's more pawns. So you have to take on d7, and now I swing it over to b3 and hit d5. So even if we have opposite colored bishops, it's not an issue until we have just the bishops left. I mean, as long as we have a rook, then it's an asset.
Yep.
But it's definitely an option. So he'll think about that. The other option is just to play bishop to c2 and then hit the pawn on d5 and try to work around getting something on the a file, and that's something being a rook.
Either way, very good winning chances for
Aman. Yeah, definitely.
For Aman. Karpov Gambit has just asked, does Zibit have a Twitch channel? Yes, absolutely. I've just put the Zibit command in the chat, so you can follow him everywhere. Shall we go to Sabino and Alex, because they are on camera actually, or they were on camera in the foreground. That was Sabino with the glasses. On board 12, it's a game I've been keeping an eye on. Brunello against Alex Astane Lopez. On board 12, it looked very promising for Brunello earlier, but
so we're going to leave Aman's position here to e4, looking very promising indeed, and go to board 12. Sabino against Alex. And this is the position that we have.
Yeah, it was a lot more promising. Suddenly black is the one with a pawn up, but earlier he was a pawn down and it looked very bad. I think Alex had gotten too greedy. If I just go back to somewhere. So this is where I saw it, which I think at this point it was black had equalized, everything looked good, but then after rook d e1, Alex got greedy and took that pawn on h5, which he very soon got punished for.
Queen h6, and what? Okay, you have to go there. Wow. Rook e3, and now the pawns are equal again. And now white is up a pawn for basically more or less not much. What
also,
happened?
Johnny Machine is in the chat. I'm sure he would be very happy to see Alex on camera. We'll see if we can work on that. We had Sabino in the foreground, the guy in the glasses, in the Aman shot. He was in the foreground of that. So yeah, and this position was just a pawn down and horrible. So I'm not sure exactly how it turned around. Maybe we can very quickly.
Well, maybe maybe it hasn't turned around. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
maybe he just sacrificed it. Bishop takes c3, so white is still up material. 2 pawns now, but he does have 2 double pawns.
Oh, and Mr. Joey, aka Haunted Sink, is in the chat. Tell that windbreaker chucklehead to move. Haunted Sink is another person who does stream actually very regularly.
The windbreaker chucklehead, Inky, my friend.
Yes.
That's my friend Inky, you know.
Don't say that about Inky. But yeah, Joey, make sure to give Haunted Sink a follow on Twitch, and also he's a writer. I've recently finished reading his novel Malagash, which is I recommend very highly. So make sure to check out Haunted Sink.
Okay, so at some stage Sabino sacked some pawns to get this pawn.
Yeah, so
Pretty
it's all
advanced, yeah.
basically down to that pawn now. Will
So,
it be able
yeah.
to queen or not?
Now he's trying to
I mean, I would be scared. Let's say
yeah,
if I was black, I'd be very scared.
And you should be.
Yeah.
It's actually a very cheeky move because black can check on f3 and take on d4.
That's actually a very nice line.
But then I would
yeah.
swiftly win the game and it's even checkmate here on c8.
Very nice. Undercover brother Tyrone is asking, who's number one right now? Well, we have a four-way tie at the top between Hovhannisyan, Alireza Firouzja, Sergei Movsisyan and Konstantin Lupulescu. So those four players are on 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, and before the round we had, I think, 8 players on 3.5.
9. Yeah.
9, yeah. You can see the standings on, if you go to the official site, ReykjavikOpen2019, especially if you check out the last report. But let's see. King g5 was the last move. And it's Alex's turn, and if you place knight f3, seemingly looking good, winning the rook, then you get mated. So what are our options?
Also, Johnny Machine had a question for us. How did we occupy ourselves until 5 p.m.? Seems like a late start for one round a day. You can tell us more about why we started at 5 today and how you occupied yourself until then.
Well, I personally occupied myself in my 9 to 5, more or less, but I think the players in the tournament, a large group of them went to a tour which we called the Golden Circle Tour, where you go to see some nice waterfalls, some geysers, and you also go to Fisher's Grave. So it's a very popular tour among the players, but it takes a while. You leave at 9 and you don't come home
until just before the round.
Yeah, until just before the round. So it's impossible to start at 3. So we have to start at 5. And this is what we do every year.
So I think that's what a lot of the foreign players go on the tour. A lot of the locals work. I personally had a late lunch and I got some work done as well.
Nice.
Nice. And I was also yesterday considering doing a tour, and then I was like, no, maybe tomorrow.
Well, you've been on it before, so.
Yeah. So yeah, so back to this passed pawn.
Yeah, what to do about it? I mean, white probably just wants to play king f6. If we play knight d7, can I play rook to e4? And I want to play rook e8.
Actually, are we even up to speed? King g5 is the last move, yeah. So we are up to speed.
Okay.
Alex been thinking for 10 minutes already in this position.
But we don't have to move the knight.
From obvious,
yeah,
what to
let's
do.
see.
Funnily enough, the engine I'm just brought up, it's late, it's past 9 p.m. Actually, the restaurants are going to start closing soon, so I don't think we'll go on for much longer here. But I brought up the engine, it's past 9 p.m., I'm allowed a cheat minute. And the engine is not concerned at all, the top 3 lines are all 0, 0,
Really?
0. Yeah.
Really?
And I think it's just saying to do nothing, but...
yeah, so let's figure out if you like move...
So rook c2 is one of
if
the
we
moves,
move the rook and king f6, is there a threat?
There's a good question in the chat from Crafty Ralph for all the Alexandra fans. He wonders if we can get Alexandra on camera. If she's still playing, she's a girl in the middle of the playing hall with a yellow top, so she should be very easy to spot. But I'm not sure if she's still playing. And she's facing towards the camera.
Sounds like a challenge to Lee.
Let's see if her result hasn't been input yet, so she might still be there. If Stully cannot spot her, then nobody can.
Exactly. Long black hair, looks like Liv Tyler's sister. According to Hedgehog 1963.
Johnny Machine is, by the way, saying that this is a good strategy. It's a good way to get the foreigners not to prepare against the locals by keeping them busy until game time. Yeah,
that's true. We tend to do very well in the first day round. Let's see. King f6.
I have a fellow Lützeboyer in the chat. Noven Fiona, ich kann euch gucken. Direkte Lützeboyer Santerkant. I don't know who this is, but good Norvent on. Sheikh Reis op Lützeburg.
So you think it's Google Translate or it's
No, it's you can tell because Google Translate is not good with Luxembourgish at all. So if someone uses Google Translate for Luxembourgish, you can tell immediately a few words are enough.
Okay. You usually can with Icelandic as well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out after King F6. I mean, is there a big threat? Of
And
course.
we've had a couple of moves actually. So he played Rook G3 check, which is an interesting move, not one we'd considered.
Okay. King G5, Rook to G3. Okay. The point is, if you take, you no longer have the knight ready to give mate.
I'd still be scared here.
Yeah. I mean, okay. If you could go here, it would be scary, but.
Actually, this did happen, so we'll probably see. He took on G3,
happened.
Knight F3. This is on the board.
Okay.
Or I'd be once again damaging my pens here. But
what about King H6 takes Knight H5? No, Knight F5 then, and it should be okay. Did he move his king already? No, he's thinking now after Knight F3. He hasn't moved.
He has not moved, no.
So King F6, Knight takes D4, and
nothing. I don't know. I'm too tired to figure this one out.
Okay, let's say.
King F6 looks.
Yeah, I mean,
here,
okay, I need 1, 2,
a lot of moves.
3, and 4 moves
I'm gonna
to checkmate you.
push him, baby.
And
on
you
the
can
queen
start
side,
pushing now. Say, okay, but.
I mean,
but
this
okay.
is still a very double-edged position. Like, I feel like anyone could still win this. Most likely, Johnny Machine, by the way, who I haven't pointed it out, but no, you're not going to Dublin, are you? Johnny Machine is the chairman of the Irish Chess Federation, actually.
Ah, okay.
He recently beat me in Bunratty, and he's a good friend of Alex as well, and he's saying he's too nervous to look at the engine. It still says, oh, so don't worry yet, but yeah, I'd be nervous too.
Okay, King F6, Knight takes, and I want to try to play G7, King G6, and then move the Knight to F6. Do we have some clever idea against that? Like Knight here, Knight here, Knight here. Maybe we do. Maybe we just go like,
Ingvar, we had our first draw on the top 10 boards. It's a game we didn't get around to checking all day, and I don't think we'll do it, but I think it was equal throughout.
Yeah, it looked quite equal.
So a draw on board 9 between Petrosian and Quentin Loiseau.
Knight here, and we're just in time to stop the mate. Actually here we could go Knight F5, so that's a blunder.
Also a draw between Johan Hjertarsson and Christopher Yu, a clash of generations.
It was an exciting game.
What happened with I didn't see. Maybe on the camera. I have such a delay that I am not. In a second I'll see what you guys see. That is Nino, and she was playing just a couple of rows before. But then I believe Alexandra's game is finished because she's very easy to spot. Can you zoom out a bit from this view? Because I know where she was sitting. Oh, is she there? I think she's... there she is. There she is. I hope you people in the chat are happy. There is Alexandra.
Can you zoom in on the position? No, I'm joking.
Look at the people; they are very happy.
Yay!
Now we just need to have someone in the playing hall who makes sure the view is free at all times. Yeah, the yellow top, the jacket has come on, so that's why she's focused. Yeah, she's very focused indeed. Oh, you know who's in the chat? Mr. Jan Nepomniachtchi.
Oh, really?
Yes, because at first I couldn't see.
Nepo.
Someone should gift him a sub to my channel. Good evening to Jan Nepo, top 10 player. Is he even a top 5 player in the world? He is a streamer himself. Make sure to follow and subscribe to La Chess's Q. I never know how to pronounce his handle. And he is wondering how Potkin lost. Yeah, we also thought he would be able to hold it quite easily, but Alireza worked his magic.
Yeah, the early middle game looked like just a very dry position, but maybe this maneuver with the knight to d8 was something that he didn't expect.
Absolutely. I'm wondering if we should maybe wrap up the show soon, or we're gonna struggle to have dinner. I'm just trying to update the results, see if there were any. There was also a draw between the Americans, Andrew Tang and Justin Sarkar.
Okay. Nice tournament of Justin, maybe.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
On course for GM Norm, potentially.
And other than that, don't really know if I missed anything big.
So Alex is still, no, Bruno Sapino is still thinking after knight to f3.
He must be debating whether to go to f6 or h6.
He's trying to figure out which square is better, because you have some options with the knight. Either you can go this way, which tones better with a king on f6, and vice versa. If you go to h5, you need the king on h6 if you want to push your pawn. And okay,
nice
push him, baby. Thank you. Knight takes d4. Well, maybe not g7.
Ivan in the chat is saying king f6 1-0. I think Jan just followed me. Thank you for following Jan. Nepo. Shout out to Nepo.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So king f6 1-0, but why?
And there we see the two highest boards that are still going. So in the foreground, Brunello against Estane Lopez, and in the background, Aman Hambleton against Erwin Lamy. All of them look very focused.
That's a nice angle.
Yeah.
So let's say I try g7 here with the idea to play king g6. I was trying to figure this out earlier, and I want to put the knight here. Okay. So we need to figure out what to do with the knight on d4. Or maybe we don't even need to move it. So knight h5, knight e2, king g6. No. Maybe knight f3. Okay, and king g6, I give you a check, and then you can't give me.
It feels like with the knight being 2 moves away, there should be a way to hold it.
So let's go back, and then I go here.
Past Pawn has just gifted a sub to Jan Nepomniachtchi,
Nice.
aka Lachesi. He'll have to teach me how to pronounce his username. Lachesi is Q. How good do you think that is?
I have no clue.
Jan, how well am I pronouncing your username? Lachesi is Q. Lucky. I think I'm getting it completely wrong, actually.
Jesus, I don't know.
Someone was asking, and I wasn't sure if they were trolling or if they were serious, but they were asking, do chess players have a bad posture in general? Because when we had the camera shut on, everyone seemed to be kind of hunched over, and I think in general
I have horrible posture.
With some back training.
Yeah, we could do with some stretches and stuff.
Yeah. I think, shall we have a last look at Aman's position?
Yeah, I think
not much has happened.
I think
actually.
this one, you tried to push g7. I think we're always in time to.
There's been a few moves actually. So he went to f6 in the end. And Alex took on d4, yeah.
I think you're always in time to stop the king from going to g7.
Yeah.
And then you're threatening to push on the other side, so probably it might be a perpetual.
Jan is saying that still his username is simple compared to his last name.
No, but people are starting to get better at that. I think.
Yeah. I actually like it. It's a nice name. Nepomniachtchi. In the beginning I struggled, but now kind of getting. Also a Greek goddess. Who is a Greek goddess? The Laches is cute.
Also who?
I don't know.
It's
getting late. It's 9:30. I think we're gonna wrap up the show here.
Quick roundup. Maybe a look at Aman's game before.
It hasn't changed so much.
Okay. So he's still a pawn up,
Time to
and
go
we
home.
think he should be converting.
Yeah.
And Sapino and Alex should be a draw. Other games we haven't looked at and are outside of contention at the moment either way. So
4 leaders. Once again, the 4 leaders are Hovhannisyan, Firouzja, Movsesian and Lupulescu. So these will be playing each other tomorrow. And since Hovhannissian and Movsesian have already played each other, I don't know what that means. I mean, on the colors, it should be Lupulescu then against Movsesian and Hovhannissian against Alireza, I believe. So yeah, that is all from us here. Tomorrow is a rest day. So tomorrow we will not be here. Tomorrow there's the Fischer Random European Cup being held at Harpa. So we will not be here. We will be back on Saturday.
Most likely no stream, unless we decide to just stream ourselves, not with our fancy equipment that we're borrowing. But
I will not be streaming, I can tell you that already.
So maybe I will, I'm not sure, but we'll see what we do. Maybe we'll get some footage at least.
We'll see, I'll probably drop by at least, at the very least, to have a look. It's going to be very interesting. I think there will be live games.
It should be interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah, there will be live games probably on Chess24 or Follow Chess or, you know, the usual sites that you can look at the games. Yeah. And actually it will be quite interesting because there will be a huge Fischer Random tournament in Norway.
I saw that, and there's a qualifying spot.
Sponsored by some Norwegians, rich Norwegians, I guess. And they will have Carlsen and top guys like Nakamura, etc. It will be a knockout. And the winner of the tournament tomorrow will get a spot in the tournament.
So a lot at stake. I believe most of the top GMs will be playing, so that will be nice. We'll be back on Saturday with an early start. The round will start at 1 p.m. GMT, meaning we will start here at 3 p.m. GMT. So we'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, over 1,300 of you today at the peak. Thanks for being so nice in the chat. Have a lovely evening or day or morning, depending on where you are. We'll see you on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.